What's going on, guys? This is Lior with Compass. Now, I thought I would make this video because a lot of you guys that are watching my videos and are potentially thinking about buying a home like to start the process with talking with a mortgage lender, which is a fantastic idea, right? 100% support it and agree. But the issue that I've been seeing is that a lot of you guys are maybe not talking to the right type of lender up front. Now, there's different types of lenders, both local, non-local, online, right? I mean, there's a bunch of tech startups in the lending space and so on. So what I thought I would do is make this video about which types of lenders are most advantageous for you to work with versus not, and especially in a really, really competitive real estate market like the greater Boston area. So if you guys watch this video, I'll give you tips on who to go to, who not to go to, and exactly why that's going to make a huge difference on whether you can get an offer accepted in Boston. So with that, let's get at it. What's going on, guys? My name's Lior and I'm with Compass out of Boston. And as I said, I'm excited to make this video for you guys. I'm really breaking down for you some of the differences between different types of lenders that you should go talk to if you're thinking about buying a house around the greater Boston area. Now, before we get into that though, two quick things. Number one, guys, if this is your first time on my channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button for me. I put out tons of new videos every single week talking about tips on buying, tips on selling, investing, lifestyle overviews of greater Boston, and so much more. So if that's the kind of content you guys are looking for, make sure you smash that subscribe button. And number two, if you guys think about doing anything with real estate, whether it's buying, selling, investing, leasing, whatever you can think of, I get so many calls from you guys watching my videos and I absolutely love it. So if you guys are thinking about doing anything, hit me up on phone, email, text, Instagram, whatever it is, and I will definitely help you out. So let's get right into the meat and potatoes of this video. And what I thought I would do is, again, break down basically the types of lenders you have the options of going to and who you should go to if you want to remain competitive around the greater Boston market. So really, to be very simple about it, you've got mainly two options, right? You basically got local banks and local mortgage brokers, and then you've kind of got what I call the big bank / online lenders, right? Now, I'm not gonna mention any names. I'm not here to advocate for one person versus the other. That's why I'm just gonna kind of keep it general in these sorts of buckets, but I'm sure you probably have some sort of a sense of who I'm referring to when I talk about the different buckets. So that being said, if you guys wanna remain competitive and really have a chance of winning offers around the greater Boston area, my big advice is definitely speak to either a local lender from a local bank or a local mortgage broker. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I'm suggesting this. And let's get right into them. And I'm gonna tell you that this is right from experience. I'm literally right now dealing with a couple of different buyers. Most of them are pre-approved with local folks, whereas I've got one person, that really wanted to work with a big bank. And I can tell you there's very stark contrast. So let's go right into the differences. So starting with number one, which is lender responsiveness. And here's what I mean by that. If you've been looking at homes around Boston area, again, you know it's super competitive, and a lot of new listings right now, they have offer deadlines. They have very strict and quick offer deadlines. Sometimes Sunday night, sometimes Monday morning, sometimes Tuesday morning. Sometimes they don't do offer deadlines and they do it on rolling basis. So it's basically whichever buyer gets to that, submits the best offer first will win the deal. And here's the issue, is sometimes you need to get an updated pre-approval letter from your lender to submit the offer. And if you're working with a big bank or an online lender, a lot of those folks are, 9 to 5, and they're not really someone you can just quickly text or call, maybe on a Sunday night and say, hey, I got to submit an offer right now, because I think I have a chance of winning it if I submit it right now. They're, basically tough potatoes, right? They're going to respond to you most likely Monday, 9 a.m. when their office is open. Whereas local lenders, right, again, local banks or local mortgage brokers, those guys are typically, much more responsive. I mean, I've gotten literally brand new pre-approvals at like Sunday, 10 p.m. when I need to submit an offer. And sometimes you just need that in order to be competitive. And the second point of this, in terms of lender responsiveness too, is sometimes when it's a really competitive situation, you need your lender to quickly call and vouch for you as a buyer, right? Because basically a listing agent, right, may have a couple of offers and say, look, I like your buyer's offer, but I just want to quickly talk to the lender and make sure, really understand the buyer's financial profile. And again, a local lender or a local mortgage broker, they are much more apt to be responsive to give the call to the listing agent right away. Whereas where I just had this experience with a big bank, it took me almost a full day to get them on the line and to get them to call the listing agent. Now, you may not think that's a huge deal, but again, in a really, really competitive situation, which we've been seeing a ton of in Boston, that made all the difference in the world, was because by the time that big bank lender called the listing agent had already selected another offer, someone that had already responded to them, confirmed their buyer's financials, and it was over. Now, the second point that kind of stems out of that first point is good listing agents will be more worried when they see pre-approvals from online lenders or big bank lenders, right? When I'm a listing agent, if I see someone come in with a pre-approval from there, I can tell you very honestly that I am much less apt to select that offer because I know of the hassle that goes with it, right? I know getting the lender on the line is going to be much tougher. I know there's going to be much more corporate red tape. I know it's just going to be transactionally way more of a nightmare than dealing with someone local that has their feet on the ground and knows what needs to be done, right? So the good listing agents around the greater Boston area, if they see a pre-approval from one of these big lenders or online lenders, they will call that out, and they will, there's a good chance they might reject your offer straight out because of that. And again, I literally just had this happen to me. It stinks. It's, you can say it's not fair or it's not right, whatever it is, but that's just the reality of it. Is good listing agents want to work with local folks that are on the ground, that know their stuff, that are not messing around, that you don't need to call corporate lines for to get them on the line, right? It's just what happens in a very, very competitive market and a competitive situation. And the third point about this too is having that local expertise can actually make a really huge difference for you, especially if there's stumbling blocks along the transaction, right? So if you think about, I've been in situations and transactions where we've had certain issues like valuation issues with appraisals, where an appraisal maybe came back a little low on the value or on the rents. And here's the big advantage with working with a local lender is that local lender understands the local market. So if you run into any stumbling blocks along the transaction, especially if it has to do anything with like values, both like I said, on the home value side or rental side or whatever it is, that lender is a lot more likely to understand, hey, you know what? I know this market really well, and you know what? I agree that this appraiser is probably not right about this value. And he or she can help you work through that process a lot easier. Whereas again, if you're working with a big bank or an online bank, right, or an online lender, right, chances are they are not as familiar with your local real estate market. They're not going to be able to necessarily vouch for that. And again, there's just way more red tape on their side. So even if they wanted to try and push and get a little bit more creative, it's going to be much, much tougher. So hopefully that's helpful, guys. I've had clients work with both types of lenders. I just think there's, especially in a market like it is right now in Greater Boston, where most listings are literally flying off the shelf, and it's insanely competitive. You want to position yourself to be as competitive as possible. So my personal suggestion is to work with someone local, again, whether it's a direct bank, credit union, mortgage broker, whatever it is, but you just want someone that's on the ground and has the expertise and know-how of how to get things done around here. But if you decide to go work with someone bigger, again, totally your choice, but just make sure you understand these differences. So if you guys have any questions, any thoughts, just shoot them below.